This video is made for adult collectors because YouTube, this is a toy. It's not real, it's just a toy. It's a toy. Plastic action figure, you know. Yay. I haven't actually taken the extra face out of the baggie yet, and the baggie's full of air. Let's see if we can get it to pop. Hang on. Ooh. That was actually quite a sound. There's the extra face. Now I can finish writing this. This thing is so weird to me because of how Newage has chosen to sell this to people. This thing was announced after the release of SS86 Optimus Prime, and there are several promo photos of this with 86 Prime, and they're selling it as an alternative to the inevitable tank Megatron because we're going to be getting him as a tank because haha laws. But the problem is they're selling this wrong. Kinda. Given how long it takes to make one of these things, a Hasbro toy typically takes about 18 months. This has to have taken a little bit longer, seeing as it's Newage, they're a much smaller company making something extremely complex, but let's say we give them the same 18 months prior to its announcement. We didn't know how big 86 Prime was going to be, and what Prime was out before that? Earthrise. Pretend this is Earthrise. I don't actually have one at the moment, but this uses bits from the toy and is pretty much the same height at the head. You get it. See how Megatron here fits more into the height with this, and with 86, he is shorter, and that looks weird to me. Yeah, I think this was always planned to be for the Earthrise mold, but now that 86 is out, they quickly pivoted the marketing to that. However, they wouldn't have had enough time to make this slightly larger, and it really needs to be that. Anyways, marketing jargon over. This is Newage Romulus. Their take on a generation-scaled G1 Megatron, and I am super happy that we are getting more third-party generation-scale stuff, but for 110-ish US dollars, depending on where you get it from, good God, does not feel like this should cost this much. This is also the toy version because I'm a toy over Toon person, and the Toon one was sold out at TFCon like everywhere. He looks nice. All the bits of Megatron I'd want are there with the lines on the lower legs, the red inside, that really nice metallic silver on this particular version. The back is also super clean with no like bits of trigger or whatever hanging off, though from the side it kind of looks like he's missing a chunk there in the middle of his torso. It's kind of funny. Head sculpt looks nice. It's exactly how I would want it. You do get the toy face with this one, though I kind of actually prefer the cartoon head on this body. I don't know, it works more for me. I've transformed this thing a few times since getting it, and so far none of the paint wants to come off. The finish feels really nice and solid, so I'm not worried about the paint's longevity. Mine does have a stiff hip when it goes backwards, and it feels like if I push it too far, it's going to shear the joint right off because haha, die cast on a plastic joint. I will say, even though there's bits I don't like, I think this still looks phenomenal. Like, it's just G1 Megatron at a Voyager scale. It looks very good. Plastic feels fine for the most part too. It just some of the joint tolerances like the ab crunch and stuff, I'll talk about that later, but they're really loose. They got really loose over time. It's kind of annoying. He comes with his sword and his mace, so you can get that excellent articulation in play to get him in some epic poses. Okay, I was gonna do a posing segment. I know we're stopping here for a second, but I just need to talk about this. It's been bothering me ever since I started filming this because it's not fun. It's not fun. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be in the comments going, "Oh, mine doesn't do this," or "Oh, I don't see the problems," and that's completely fine. If you like this thing, I'm glad you like it. I don't. And I'm going to explain why I don't through showing you the articulation, because that's the biggest problem I have. And it's not the amount of articulation, it's the joint tolerances. They suck. They just suck. At least on my copy, they are horrible. So to start with, the head is on a ball joint. You can get some nice tilt, and they got that extra hinge for transformation, so you can really get some tilt in there if you want to. You can look up that far and down, and you have your rotation. That's completely fine. The shoulders, they can do a full 360, though they rotate at a strange axis because of the transformation, so that does look weird. But you got that full 360. They can go out that far. However, if they are rotated this way, they can only go out that far, just due to that little bar at the top, but that's no big deal. You do have bicep rotation, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation, that just rotates itself right off. Thank you for that. You do have your double ab crunch, and it does have some like little bits that come out here to fill that in, which is very cool. You have your waist joint, single front hip skirt. Why? Why is this? I hate this. The hips can go forward about that far. They cannot do a full T pose. They can go back that far. Hip skirts move out of the way. They can go out, and we'll get to that later. You do have thigh rotation. You have a double jointed knee that looks kind of ugly. And the ankles can go down. They can go up, and you have an insane ankle pivot. So he's quite the amount of articulation. I really hate that front hip skirt, but there's too much loose. There's too much of this is loose, and it wasn't like this out of the box. It's gotten this loose, and I don't mess with this that often. So after getting this at LA, I transformed it a couple times. I didn't like how some of the arm things work, but now that I've figured it out fully, I think it's fine. Then I got home, and then it sat on a shelf like this for like a week. Then I wrote about it, then it sat on a shelf for another few days, and now I'm starting to make a video on it again. And ever since just leaving it there, the biceps have gotten really loose, the hands, if you go like, oh, I want to use the wrist swivel, they just come out a little too easily now. The ab crunch is so incredibly loose on my copy. Like, now, I know you're never going to shake the figure in person, and you're never going to like pick it up like this, but this is the best way I can show you what I'm talking about. The ab crunch is really loose. It's extremely loose. And it's not fun when I go to pose it and it just starts to droop slightly if he's leaning forward. It's a little annoying. The hips, right? So we have this hip right here where when I go backwards more than this, it just stops and wants to snap. These small pinned joints in die-cast like this, I've never had them work properly for me. Do you remember Unique Toys Nero? That thing got loose so quickly because of the die-cast hips. It just didn't work. And then on top of that, when you're using the thigh swivel, these bits right here bump into the crotch. So if you have the legs at like, oh, what's the angle? If you're like here, right? That's as far as they'll rotate out. Unless you go a little bit further, then you can rotate them out, but it looks a bit strange. And the knees, is it this one or is it this one? No, it's this one. This one's gotten a little bit loose over time. And then the feet, the ankles, they are so loose. There he goes. They cannot really hold his weight super well. I was surprised I got him in that running pose. But like, yeah, the side to side hip movement, it's so loose now. And then the worst contender here, the gun barrel. Why does this come out so easily? I'll be messing with, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get into a pose. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And I don't want to glue it in because I don't know if they're gonna release like a stock and silencer set later on, or if this mold was ever planned to have one and that's how you have to attach the silencer. Because I don't want to glue it on and then sell it, and then someone who buys it can't do the stock silencer thing if they do that. So I'm going to leave it like this. But yeah, those are the issues that have cropped up ever since owning this thing, and it is a little annoying. I know I sound a bit ranty, but like, I still like the way that it looks and I like the articulation. I just wish the joint tolerances were better because they are kind of horrible. So yeah, the robot looks great and it feels mostly great. I just wish it actually scaled with 86 Prime, because they even put it in a Studio Series style box, an old Studio Series style box. Anyway, he turns into a gun, not a tank. And this is great for those who really can't come to terms with Megatron being a tank now. But getting there, while mostly fun, there's a couple of little things I just don't vibe with. I will say he's leaning a little bit because, you know, mold degradation. But I do find it funny that the actual Voyager tank Megatron is also slightly taller than that. Anyways, let's make this thing a pistol. The transformation is really unique, but also feels a little bit MP36. However, it's not as annoying as MP36. This transformation is actually kind of nice to do. There's just a couple things that I don't like. So to start with, I'm removing the barrel. It's going to fall off. I'm taking it off. You want to see, look at the hips. They're already starting to do the splits. I'm taking this off as well. We're going to flip that around and then extend the barrel. Now we're going to work on the arms. Now this confused me at first, and these were really tight out of the box, but now they're kind of fixed. We're going to take the arm out and we're going to push in here. And that little panel is going to struggle to come out. There we go. Nope, never mind. There we don't go. There it comes. So we're gonna take both of those out on either side. Here, if I can get my fingernail in there. The neighbor's dog is barking. Then we're gonna take the arms and we're going to split them. So you're going to want to take the chest and bring this section forward. That'll bring this out and that'll unpeg this one here. You can bring that down and just sort of straighten the arms out on either side. Now we're going to take the head. You want to shift it up on its double hinge, fold this section out, and that's just sort of going to sit there for now. Now we're going to work on the arms. So we're going to open this panel up right here. We're going to take this section, open it up, flip out the whatever that is. That the hammer? I don't know gun terms. Then you want to compress this entire assembly in like that till it sits at that angle, and then close this up. And then bring this down and leave it there. And that is one side. There, you can't see that. That's one side done. Come on. Are you gonna sit in there properly? Now that looks like a mess. So what we're gonna do now here is we're going to flip this down and then rotate it forward, and it's going to fold up here, but we don't have space. So we're going to take this section here and separate it from this, rotate it around, and then just sort of bring it back up and fold it into place. Now we have room to peg this in. See, the torso hinge is just annoying me. Then you bring these sections down. First, you want to take these bits right here and close them up around the shoulders. That sort of locks everything into place. Bring the head down, and while you're bringing the head down, get all this to just sort of peg over top of the arms, which can be a little fiddly to do, but once you get that all situated, next thing we're going to do is work on the legs. So you want to take this and you want to rotate it 180 degrees. You want to come back here, you want to open these sections up and just flip them out. They're going to become the side of the gun. Then you want to take the crotch flap, bring it up, compress it in, it will slide in, then fold these up on either side, and that sort of hides it away. It looks a lot nicer hidden on the toy color one than the toon color one, so take that as you will. Now you want to take the trigger and fold it out from inside the legs. This bit right here, this entire leg assembly, reminds me a lot of that old DX9 one, if anyone remembers that. I loved that thing. I really want one of those one day. So you're going to rotate the hips down, bring this all the way around, and bring the hips up, fold out his trigger. Now we're going to work on the inner legs. So you want to split this section, right? And then rotate it down. You want to fold out these panels here. You want to split the foot in half, folding up the heel. You notice that that hip just moved by itself. Then you want to take this section, bring it out, fold it up, compress this in, take the foot and shimmy it up into place, and then bring it back around and collapse it into the rest of the leg while pegging it in. And that's one of the handles of the gun. Now you want to take this part here and just split it all off, bring this down till it pegs into place, and then just sort of leave the, is this the hammer actually? I don't know. Leave this bit back here. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side off camera because this is taking forever. All right, now that that's done, we're going to take the inner hip section and fold it down on both sides. Come on. Oh, there we go, on both sides. And then you're going to, something's not right. This is not right. Make sure that they are in this orientation. Then you can peg all of this together. And it pegs in at the legs and at the trigger guard. Then you bring these little hammer bits down. Again, I think they're the hammer, I don't actually know. You bring this down and this is going to peg into the front there. Then you bring these sections up. You fold this around and it's going to sort of hold everything into place on both sides. It's also going to peg in underneath here. So you bring that all in, squeeze it all together. Then you fold these sections down on both sides. Now, you notice how without the barrel and the scope, that looks like an actual gun, like a real life gun. Yeah, this is why we don't have an 86 Megatron. You want to plug the barrel in, plug in the scope, and none of the weapons store anywhere, but now we have gun. We have gun. Yay. I don't like guns. Yep, that's a gun. It's a toy, YouTube. It looks like that original toy that I don't have, but it works. Legit, I have no complaints here with this other than some fit and finish issues. Actually, no, it's just one. It's the barrel on mine, likes to droop a little bit. The tab needs to be thickened a tiny bit. Oh, and then the barrel falls off, but I already talked about that. It's small. It doesn't fit in my larger hands, and the trigger doesn't have a spring, but given the size, I'm okay with that. Would have made fitting the trigger into robot mode kind of annoying. Oh, and like I said, accessories, they have nowhere to store, but like, it's a gun. It's a gun. But that price, it's just too expensive. I don't feel like I'm getting 110-ish bucks out of this thing. It feels very much like $70 to $80 at most to me, at most. I'm really excited to see the actual 86 one and how it's gonna look, because apparently from what I've heard, Takara's so excited to show it to us, they want to show it now. And Hasbro's like, no, it's not ready yet. It's kind of funny. But do I recommend this? Maybe? I mean, look. The 86 one is not going to be a gun. It's going to be a tank. Oh, but Newage was able to make it a gun. Why can't Hasbro? Because this toy is basically illegal, and they don't confide to the safety laws, rules, and regulations, and so on. And while for those who want their Megatron to be absolutely accurate, this costs almost twice as much as the one coming out later. But if you really want Megatron to be a gun, then sure, this is definitely for you. But if you're willing to wait, depending on how good it looks, the official one will probably be a better bang for your buck. But that's been my look at Newage Romulus. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.